Hello everyone, we are taking a look at the 2021 New Jersey gubernatorial election today. Of course, this is an election that has been in the news lately. For a while, the Virginia gubernatorial election was definitely more, you probably heard about it more than the New Jersey gubernatorial election. And that was because New Jersey's gubernatorial election was not it wasn't supposed to be close. And many people focused on Virginia because they thought Virginia would be close. However, New Jersey has proved people all wrong because this has turned out to be closer than Virginia. This could be a more high stakes election, much more than Virginia. So, votes came in last night, but they have still not all been counted. We still have many absentee ballots we can see here, and this is a rare sight on Wikipedia. This only happens when elections are happening at the moment. And we see that 89% of the vote is in this gubernatorial election. Of course, this is 2021, of course. And the Democrat is Phil Murphy, and the Republican is Jack Ciattarelli, if I'm saying that right. But please correct me in the comments. I hope I don't have to say it that many times in this. Ciattarelli, I guess. But Phil Murphy is the incumbent. We go here. And this was on November 3rd, 2021. This is actually today. Actually, didn't realize. But anyway, Governor Murphy is at 50% job approval. 50% of people approve of how Governor Murphy is doing, is governing the state of New Jersey at this moment. 6:21 a.m. this was of today. So this is really this could be a poll that proves the outcome of this election. So 50% of people do think that Phil Murphy is doing well. 50% of New Jerseyans, but I do believe that the Republican will win, Jack Ciattarelli. And there is much proof to back this up. But I do want to go back and just say this. This isn't like a election that could go there, that is likely to go to one candidate. Alright, sure. The Phil Murphy leads at the moment with 59.94% of the vote to the Jack's 49.32%. Alright, but 11% of the vote still needs to come in. Alright, this could go either way. It is too close to call. But I do think that the Republican here, Jack Ciattarelli, will win this election. And this is mostly backed up by history and what patterns we see. And we're going to be taking a look at how the Virginia election can really help us predict this New Jersey election, because both are going to be very the same. And Jack Ciattarelli is very similar with the Republican in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, on policy, everything, stuff like that. And a lot of this will be will follow the same patterns as the 2009 and 2013 New Jersey gubernatorial election, right? So, this is the 2009 gubernatorial election in New Jersey, where Chris Christie, the Republican, won with 48.5% of the vote. We go back to 2005. This guy, John Corzine, wins the election. In 2009, he's the incumbent running for re-election. That is pretty similar. We see similar to 2021. In 2021, we see another incumbent Democrat running for re-election. However, Phil Murphy does have a slightly higher approval rating than this guy, John Corzine, when he was in office. So, Chris Christie, like this guy, Jack, Ciattarelli, is seen as an outsider, right? Kind of like a Jimmy Carter sense in 1976. Someone who can bring faith back to New Jersey, and someone who can stop the Democratic establishment. Someone who could not necessarily break the establishment, but stop the Democratic establishment. And we go to 2013. Chris Christie wins again. He is a pretty popular governor at this point, and a Republican. This won't really help us, but I'm just pointing it out. Of course, this was before the economic downfall, and then in 2016, Chris Christie only has a 15% approval rating, and that is pretty insane. And then we go to 2017, and Phil Murphy does win, mostly because of the fact that Chris Christie had such a low approval rating, and that they did not trust the Republican Party. They rethought their stuff about the Democratic establishment. So 2009 is going to be very similar to 2021. A Democrat running for incumbent against a new Republican who brings a sense of renewity, right? A new chance, a fresh start. All right, and that's very similar to Virginia, right? Glenn Youngkin is a Chris Christie in a way, All right, now to connect this to Virginia, we're going to be looking at this. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has a 16-point lead over Republican Jack Ciattarelli in a new poll. And this was, when was this? This was published on August 18th, 2021. So yeah, don't get so excited if you're a Democrat. This is not true as of right now. Polls right now are extremely close, and we'll get to those in a moment. But 16-point lead. This, the Philadelphia Inquirer says on August 18th. Now let's go to the Virginia gubernatorial polls. June 2nd through the 6th, 2021. Terry McAuliffe leads in Virginia, right? Next poll, leads, and leads. Until they're tied. Alright, so this early polling, of course, this graph shows it's getting, more and more time after. Of course, like this end of the poll is earliest, this is the latest, right? But these early polls, they all show McAuliffe, sorry, I get confused with those two, in the lead. And what does that remind you of? This poll, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has a 16-point lead, and that was in August. Alright, so they do share, in Virginia, the incumbent was expected to win in many polls, and the margin, or the difference, shrunk. And the same exact thing is going for New Jersey. Murphy once had a 16-point lead, and that's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And in Virginia, Youngkin came out on top, who in the beginning wasn't winning many polls. And we go to New Jersey, the polls are getting, or the margin is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Therefore, it will, lead us to the conclusion that Jack Ciattarelli will win this election. Now going to actual polls. 1 second. Let me just get to it here. So, what's his name? Phil Murphy has won every single poll. Alright, now the last poll was taken on November 1st, and I'm just showing you this to say that these polls are extremely inaccurate. Alright, this just proves that these New Jersey polls, they are useless. And this shows us right here. Phil Murphy leads by 6 points. Phil Murphy leads by 4 points. Phil Murphy leads by 9 points, 8 points, 9 points, even as high as 11 points right here. And we go up here to the actual results where the votes are actually being counted, and look at this margin. 49.94% to 49.32%. Now, mail-in ballots, of course, probably will favor the Democrats. However, this is not the 2020 election. This is 1 year after the 2020 election. And COVID is not that bad, especially in New Jersey. New Jersey has been doing very, good with COVID. Really, they're one of the safest states in the country. They're very liberal, or under Phil Murphy's watch, he imposed many mask mandates, all of that, and many people aren't as afraid of COVID as old people are in the South, Texas, Arizona, all states like that, Midwest. So the mail-in votes, the absentee votes, won't be so much heavily favored to the Democratic side as in 2020. I think it will be pretty much split. I think it'll just be people who are too lazy to actually go to the polls. Maybe people who have work that day can't get out of work or anything like that. I really don't think these mail-in ballots will favor one candidate. So, all of this information and how it connects to Virginia, the patterns that it connects to Virginia, and polls, polls with Governor Murphy and all that, do lead me to the conclusion that Jack Ciattarelli will win this election. I'm mostly basing this off of Virginia and how Glenn Youngkin came in at the last second, and this shows. I do think that Glenn Youngkin won because of Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is not a popular president. And many people, many citizens, connected Terry McAuliffe with Joe Biden, and Biden is not very popular, therefore giving more votes to Glenn Youngkin. Phil Murphy will be a Biden-type person, right? Because he is Democratic establishment, that will give the Republican Jack more votes. Many of these factors and how similar this election is to Virginia leads me to the official conclusion that Jack Ciattarelli will win the governorship of New Jersey. And my connection, this connection to the 2009 New Jersey gubernatorial election in the same exact state, where Chris Christie, an outsider, won against a Democratic incumbent, and this guy, Jack Ciattarelli will be, his policy will be more popular than Chris Christie's at the moment. It will be more, loved by New Jersey citizens. He's not necessarily going to be more popular than Chris Christie in 2009 as he is in 2021, but his policies will be more adored by New Jersey citizens. So that wraps up today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already down below on the bottom so you can see more predictions like this. Drop a like. Well, I don't even care about those. You could dislike this if you want. And also, please comment. I love to see comments on my channel. And yeah, I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye.